Multi-digit multiplication using number chips. This is the Easter version. It's a digital lesson, and it starts out explaining to the students how to line up their numbers when they're multiplying larger numbers. They line them up in the ones place, the same as they do when they're adding or subtracting. If one of the numbers has more digits than the other, it's going to go in the top row. And the next slide shows that if you look at the numbers in white, you're going to multiply from right to left. 3 times 3 is 9. And then 3 times 2. And actually, you want to explain to the students that this is actually 20. 3 times 20. Because when you multiply 3 times 2, that 6 is going to go in the tens place for 60. So from right to left, 3 times 3, 3 times 2 is 6, and then 3 times 5 is 15 for a final answer of 1,569. So students are going to start on slide 5. Every slide has all of the numbers the students need, and they just need to drag and drop them into the correct circles to do their multiplication. Now, these problems start out fairly easy, and they get a little bit more difficult as they go. So to move the chips, you just click and hold on the edge. So 2 times 3 is 6. Click and hold, move that into place. 3 times 3 is 9. And 3 times 7 is 21. Same thing over here, 2 times 2 is 4. And again, they're going to use every single number. So as these problems get more difficult, when they get to the end of a problem and their numbers aren't working, they know they've made an error somewhere and they need to go back and check. Every single answer on here for every problem has a yellow heart with a letter in it. That's going to help them on the very last slide to solve an Easter riddle. Next slide, same thing. Then they're shown what to do when they get a two-digit product. So here, 7 times 4 is 28. Well, the 8 stays here. The 2 moves to the column to the left. You're going to carry it, and it goes above this number. So when you multiply for the second time, 4 times 4, you're going to add that 2 for 18. So the 8 stays. The 1 is going to get carried to the next column to the left, again, above this number. And then they take 4 times 6 is 24, plus 1 is 25. So on the next slide, the numbers that the students carry are going to be the smaller ones. And so here they have a 4-digit by a 1-digit, 2 times 7, 14. So they're going to keep the 4, they're going to carry the 1. 7 times 6 is 42, plus 1 is 43. We're going to keep the 3, carry the 4. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 4 is 25. Keep the 5, carry the 2. And then 7 times 5 is 35, plus 2 is 37. So this reduces a lot of frustration for the students because they have the numbers that they need. So through the process of elimination, they can figure out their answer. They're going to do the same thing on the next slide. Now they're shown what to do when they have a 3-digit by a 2-digit. So they're going to break this multiplication into 2 parts. They're going to first multiply 312 times 3 in this row, and then 312 times 20. And because they're multiplying by 20, they're going to start this row from right to left with a 0. And then go ahead and multiply the rest. They're going to add the 2 products together to get their final answer. So students are going to do that on the next few slides. They're going to get a lot of practice. Then they have a 4-digit by 2-digit. Now we go to a 4-digit by 3-digit. So we're going to break that multiplication into 3 different parts. 2,245 times 9 will be in this row. 2,245 times 60 will be in this row. That means they have to start that row with a 0. And then 2,245 times 300, they're going to have to start this third row with 2 zeros because they're multiplying by a number in the hundreds. Now, when they get the 3 multiplications done, they're going to add all 3 together to get their final answer. And on this slide, these 2 zeros are already there for them. And then they get 1 to do on their own 4-digit by 3-digit. Now, when they get to the last slide, they've got an Easter riddle. And they're just going to go back through the previous slides, find each of these products, and take that letter that's in the yellow heart, and they're just going to type it in above its answer. And it should solve the riddle. So that is the Easter version of multiplying with multi-digit numbers.